before I ask you anything, I just want to say real quick, I am such a fan of your work in Nightmare 2. It's so exciting that this new collection is coming out. So congratulations on all the success that this movie has
Yeah,
had.
thank you. Well, I think you'll be really pleased when you see it. I think it's it's this is the way we wanted the film to be seen, but it never quite could be, especially home video stuff. But it you're now seeing the film exactly the way we wanted it to be seen. So
Yeah.
that's maybe for the first time.
No, totally, which is so awesome, and I'm so excited. It's just such a good movie, and I love it so much. So I absolutely can't wait.
Thank you, thank you.
Jack, to start, I'm wondering if you can just kind of walk me through a little bit what it's like to kind of get that phone call for the first time to say that you're going to direct a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I mean, I know it was a while ago, but when you first started working on Freddy's Revenge, what aspect of this world and the Freddy Krueger character were you kind of most excited to explore? And what did the process of kind of figuring out what a direct sequel to Wes Craven's movie looked like in those early days?
Okay, well, first of all, my first reaction was to say no because I didn't want to be typecast as a horror film director, and I especially didn't want to be typecast as a horror film sequel director. Um, and then a friend of mine, a producer, said, "Jack, you're crazy. The movie's going to make a lot of money, and you're going to have a career as a director." I'd done my first feature, and the phones were not really ringing off the hook. And so, I did 13 more features. I directed movies for another, 20 some years after that. So he was right. Um, uh, Basically, it was very scary because Wes had left, and they were going to start shooting in 6 weeks. So I had 6 weeks to prep what for me was a very complicated movie. I'd only done one and had a huge number of special effects, none of which I knew how to do, and had to cast the whole film. I had to find all the locations. I had to, hire the people who weren't already hired. I mean, fortunately, the director of photography for the first one had already been hired, which I was very happy about because he did a great job, and I had always admired his work. So he was helpful in helping me get through it. That wouldn't have been
Sure.
as good if it hadn't been for him. But I like to plan every shot of the movie before I shoot it. Initially just out of fear, that I was going to walk on the set and have no idea what I was doing, and then I could at least look at a piece of paper and say, "You go here, put the can." But it also forces you to think through what the movie's about, what the scene is about, why what it's doing in the movie, why it's there. Who is the scene about? What is the subtext of the scene? What is the subtext of the movie? Which for me was um, teen sexual anxiety, which kind of morphed into a bigger issue, as the audience has grown. Uh, and so it was very, very stressful. I mean, it was basically one long panic attack. And then, I managed to get everything done like the day before we started shooting. I had everything planned out, everything was done. I walked on the set and boom, all the nerves went. It's kind of like an actor. They push you on stage and then you start to play and everything's good. So that's kind of how it was.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
there was no pressure. There were no rules. Well, I mean, there's a rule. The only thing they said was keep Freddy scary, make him scary, keep him dark. And so that's what we did. But other than that, I just had free reign to shoot the script, and that was, that was what I had to do. I didn't have any time to really work with the writer on the script. Neil Lang was happy with the script, so I had to try to make it work as best I could. I didn't really ask a lot of deep questions. I mean, the only thing about Freddie is that initially, when I got out to LA, I've been living in New York. When I got out to LA, I said, "So is Rob coming back?" And they said, "Well, we're not sure. We're trying to make a deal with his agent, but his agent has the nerve to ask for more money, and so we don't want to give him more money." And I said, "Well, I think it's kind of important that he comes back." And they said, "No, we can just get somebody and dress him up like Freddie. It'll be fine." Uh, which I think we all found out that was not the case.
Right.
Fortunately, they managed to get it back. So, yeah. I mean, it probably would have done okay anyway because the idea was so good. But you know what they found out was when we finished the film, we started screening it. It's all about Freddy. If you see the original poster, Freddy's not on the poster. There's no
Hmm.
Freddy. There's just a claw, like in a bird or something. And there's this claw hanging in the air, and that's it. And it says starring, and then at the bottom it says and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. You know, the
Yes.
next movie, Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. You know.